¿qué tal, familia Hard? ¿Cómo están? Espero que estén muy bien. Nosotros también nos encontramos muy bien, por si lo preguntaban. Sé que nos hemos tardado mucho en subir video, pero después de unas cuantas complicaciones ya estamos aquí nuevamente. Y les traigo esta vez un video en el cual estoy muy emocionada. Espero que les guste tanto como a mí. Entonces, comenzamos. A Chile súbele al volumen porque esta vez estamos trabajando sin micrófono porque Free se lo llevó. Entonces, el video está muy bueno para que no se escuche, entonces sube. En esta ocasión, familia Hard, les traigo una bonita entrevista exclusiva para nosotros de uno de los jefazos del hardstyle, el líder de Thera, DJ Thera.
Hey, I'm DJ Thera, Pieter Heine from the south of the Netherlands, and I'm also the label owner of Thera, and I'm happy to answer a few of your questions. So here we go.
What motivated you to be a DJ, and in what year did you start?
My earliest memory of wanting to be a DJ was when I visited the local club for the first time when I was actually a bit too young. I actually shouldn't have attended it, and I saw the DJs play there, and I thought, this is something I want. I want to be in control of the music that people hear. And in what year did I start? In the 90s, I actually started with a radio show, also a local radio show. So I have been DJing, holy shit, over 20 years already. So that's a long time.
Why hardstyle and not another genre of electronic music?
Well, that's actually quite a good question, because why hardstyle? Well, the funny thing is, I started producing music also at a very early age, and back then the word hardstyle wasn't even invented, so it wasn't there. So the first tracks I made were hardcore and trance, and eventually those two, hardcore and trance, were like melted together into hard trance, hard dance music, and then it was named hardstyle. So I always have loved hardcore, I always have loved trance music, and hardstyle is the perfect combination of both. So that's why I always prefer to make hardstyle, because I can put in my hardcore elements, I can put in my trance elements, and creates a perfect blend together.
After the duo Brennan and Hart split up, why did you choose the name DJ Thera?
Well, for those of you who don't know, Brennan Hart is a very famous hardstyle artist, but when he started, we actually started as a duo, so it was Brennan and Hart. When we split up, that was right before 2006, so that's already 12 years ago, long time ago. We went our separate ways, and I needed a new DJ name, and I came up with Thera, because Thera has the same letters as Hard. It's the T-H-E-R-A. It's the same letters as Hard, so that's why I thought, hey, that's a cool name, because then I still have like the connection to my past.
What was your first track as DJ Thera?
Well, the first release I actually did as DJ Thera was a track called Injecting Bass in 2008, I think, on a label called Hard Hammer. So that was even before I started Thera. That release also featured the track The Test 1.0. So those were my first solo tracks as DJ Thera.
What is the style that most defines you?
I think Yeah, well, obviously it's hardstyle, and well, some of you also call it raw style, so it's a bit of a combination of the harder edged hardstyle. I wouldn't necessarily call it raw style 100%, because I also love to incorporate the early flavors of hardstyle in there. So it's like modern classic hardstyle, but then pretty heavy. I think something like that. It's really hard to pinpoint it on one particular name, because I also love to produce quite diverse. So the one time it's more classic edged track, and other times it's more like an industrial hardcore edge track. So and everything in between. So, but I think most defining is indeed raw style with classic hardstyle touches.
What do you feel when you go on the stage and see all the people enjoying your set during your shows?
Oh, that's obviously one of the best feelings there is. I mean, you work hard in the studio and preparing music to make people go crazy on the dance floor, and when you then go on stage and you play them and people are actually going crazy, that's the best feeling in the world.
Do you have any goal or dream in your career that you have not yet achieved?
Well, one of my dreams and goals is to play in Mexico. I never have been in Mexico in my life. I would love to play in Mexico. For other goals and dreams, it's actually pretty simple. When I haven't played in a country yet, I would love to bring my music there. So that's one of the things I really love. And well, Mexico is still very high on my list to visit and to go to play there. So hopefully that will happen.
What motivates you to found Thera?
Yeah, good question. Well, the thing is, with my music being so diverse and different to others, it's very difficult for a lot of record companies to think, this is so different, let's release that. It's mostly when it's a bit easier to understand that record companies want to release it. So I thought, you know what, there is actually, back in 2008, there is actually no record company that releases very diverse and more unique and maybe even awkward hardstyle music. And I thought, you know what, why shouldn't I do that myself and be the label where artists can develop themselves to create their own style of hardstyle. So that's what motivated me mostly to start with Thera.
What are the styles that we can find in Thera?
Well, for me personally, I love all types of hardstyle, except when the kicks aren't heavy enough. So I love melodic stuff, I love heavy stuff, I love industrial stuff, I love the whole range, except when the kicks aren't heavy, because for me it's hard style. So the word hard is in there, so it should be hard. And if you push your kicks more to the background, in my opinion, that's not hard. So it's not hard style in my opinion. So I love all styles of hardstyle as long as the kicks are heavy. That's it.
What differentiates Thera from other labels?
Thera is really different than other labels because every artist pursues his or her own style of music. We don't say this is a typical Thera sound, because there is no typical Thera sound, because every artist sounds completely different. If you listen to a Kane track and then you listen to a Resist track and then a Thera track and then a Retaliation track, it's all different tracks. Rise is again completely different. I think that's what makes us unique. As Thera, we are a very wide spectrum of hardstyle, and that diversity that makes Thera. So diversity is key. That's the most important thing.
We know that the sub-label Thera Labs recently born. Tell us about this new project and what do you expect from it?
Well, the good thing about Terracos Labs is we create a new platform for new artists, for talented artists to develop themselves more. So instead of completely new artists on Terracos with the whole marketing stunt, whatever, you name it, put them big in the market. Well, some new talents might not be entirely ready to get a start like that, and it's better to get them used to the music business at first and let them grow, let them develop until they are on a high level, and then can make that transition to the main label. Because of that, we started Terracos Labs and gave and still give a lot of talents the opportunity to release their music, and we guide them to become bigger, become better, and hopefully they can develop themselves that good that they can move to the main label of Terracos. Also, Terracos Labs is also made so we can experiment a little bit more. Sometimes in the studio you think, whoa, this is really crazy. I'm not sure if that works, but let's make a track. If an artist from the main label then makes a track, we can put it on Labs, because Labs stands for laboratory, and we can experiment also with tracks. So that's why Terracos Labs was started.
So, would you like to play ons in Mexico?
Well, of course, I would love to play in Mexico. I'm really excited to see the Mexican crowd, because from the footage I saw online is that you guys are pretty crazy on dance floor, so it will be amazing to experience that once. So thank you very much for this interview, and for me, DJ Thera, muchas gracias, and I hope to see you in Mexico. Bye bye.
Y bien, familia Hard, aquí termina la entrevista. Espero que les haya gustado tanto como a mí. Fue súper emocionante que Thera aceptara tener esta entrevista. Entonces, espero que les haya gustado. Y suscríbanse al canal, síganos en nuestras redes sociales, en Instagram, síganos. A ver, aguántenme tantito. Me estoy poniendo estos candies que ustedes me regalaron con mucho amor. Miren nomás, este dice Hardstyle. Está enfocado, ¿verdad? Miren nomás qué chulo, este dice Hardstyle, este dice Wasteland. Trae un púa, este es un puerco. Y así, súper bonito. Ustedes me los han dado con mucho amor y yo los agradezco, en serio los amo. Muchos lo hicieron para mí exclusivamente, saben que me gustan los puerquitos. Entonces Nati, la que me dio esto, te amo. Esperamos verlos pronto en algún evento, en algún festival. Y ya se viene uno en septiembre. Entonces esperamos verlos ahí. Si les gusta el hardcore, el terror, entonces... Y también nos vemos en el siguiente video. Entonces...